This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Program is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, there you go. It does not matter who the host is. That is for sure. As we are hanging and banging on this lovely Thursday, December the 22nd, day 356 of the year. And there you go. Only 9 days to go in regards to what is happening. 9 days to go, and that is what is left before the end of 2023. Anyways, how have you been? How are things going? How are things moving and grooving? Because that is importante as we are talking. So what is going on inside of your neck of the woods? Because that is going to be something that we're going to need to address today, of course. Because, listen, this show is built around you. Yep, built around you. So we definitely need to move, groove, and get everything rolling. So how are things? How are things going? How are things coming about and all that kind of fun stuff? Listen, I don't know, and I don't know who needs to tell you this, but if you don't know this already, if you have not started your shopping, if you're planning on shopping, you probably need to do that relatively quick. Sunday is right there. Today's Thursday. Just want to make sure that we're clear here. Like I've been already been tasked today, and keep in mind it is extremely early, as you know, with doing the grocery shopping hopping this morning. So that's going to be some fun after I get to leave the stewed, which I'm pretty sure I won't do it after I leave here. It'll probably be later this afternoon, but that's what I've been tasked with. You know, it's the great thing about being a team, you know, when you're needed, you know, all that kind of fun stuff, whatever jargon you're supposed to say. Anyways, we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse of known as Safety FM. And then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place that we do stuff at.
Prepare yourself.
We are now being distributed on iHeartRadio. Listen on iHeartRadio app. Radio Big.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, so we're hanging out with Radio Big via the iHeartRadio app or TuneIn or the Radio Big app or wherever the hell you want to find us over there on that side of the equation. And just to make sure that we're clear here, if you want to interact with the show, it is a simple process. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com, and that'll get you moving and grooving. If you want to see the visual version as we are live, you can do that. Now, keep in mind that the live portions between 7 and 8 that we do video. After 7 and 8 Eastern time, we don't do video. Thank goodness. Yeah, so there you go. You can find that on safetyfm.com under visual radio or radiobig.fm under visual radio. So there you go. Some stuff right there as we are talking. With that being said, let's start talking right away about what the hell's going on with the trends.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so according to the trends yesterday, Franco Harris landed in Twitter's top 10 trends on Wednesday after news broke that the NFL player's passing. We can talk a little bit more about that if you'd like. Also, winter solstice was trending yesterday as the shortest day of the year, only 8 hours and 25 minutes of daylight. Yeah, 8 hours and 25 minutes of daylight. Give me 8 hours of daylight, and I can show you some things that I can do that you might be impressed with, but I need the 8 hours in full. So there you go. There you got that, and then hashtag National Signing Day was trending as high school athletes signed what their future schools would be. Tweets were mixed on news. Of course, congratulations and messages of anti-bullying for those disappointed by choices made by some of the 18-year-old athletes. So that was what was going on. So there you go. A lot of stuff right there. Also, before I forget, if you have not taken a look-see-ook-see at the safetyfm.io about the Safety Differently conference that is coming up in March, hey, guess what? It makes a great holiday present. You can go to Safety Differently workshop that's taking place in Santa Fe, New Mexico. If you're so interested to, you got some options there on doing some of that. That is, of course, up to you if you want to do it or not. Always some information on some things that can be done. Doesn't necessarily mean that you will do it, but it can be done if you want to. This is going to be Todd's first in-person event, not private event. So let me make sure that I'm clear here. Since, if I remember correctly, February of 2019. Yeah, February of 2019. So I guess we could say back by popular demand because people have requested it, but he just normally does most of his stuff in private places is really what it goes, just private events. So there you go. You have the opportunity right now to come out, hang out with Todd, Mark Yeston, Martha Acosta, and Bob Edwards. Of course, I will be there hanging out doing the stuff that we do, that looks like this. A lot of microphones involved and all that kind of fun stuff. So anyways, if you're new here, let me explain what happens. We talk about safety in the news and safety. We do some stuff here, some stuff there, some stuff everywhere, and then we kind of go around and about. And then we bring in some professional broadcasters. They talk about what the hell's going on inside of the world of the multiverse. Then we come back and we talk about it from our view. Because, that's the fun part. We get to talk about the truth according to you. And some people will say, well, hold on, how does that work? Look it up on how the law books have it written. It's truth according to you is really what's going on there. I just kind of wonder sometimes on how that works. So, from my perspective, you always have an out. Just think about it in that fashion. So there you go. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about. I just don't know where to start because there is so much to do. There is so much to talk about. There is so much just to gander around and do all the fun stuff around there. So there you go. With that being said, I think it's time for us to do the news. So let's just do the news then. We'll go from there.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
The president says American support is essential if they are to defeat the Russians.
Your support is crucial, not just to stand in such fight, but to get to the turning point, to win on the battlefield.
During a rare joint meeting of the U.S. Congress, President Vladimir Zelensky said Ukraine will never surrender. In his historic speech, this is his first foreign trip since Russia invaded his country 300 days ago. Zelensky thanked the U.S. and congressional leaders for their support. He said Ukraine is alive and kicking. Roughly 180 million Americans across 40 states are under alert for cold, snow, and wind. Just 3 days before Christmas, Tom Costello has the latest on flight delays and cancellations mounting across the U.S.
Counting down, with the storm expected to slow air traffic across the region to a trickle within 24 to 36 hours. Airlines are waiving change fees and encouraging passengers to rebook if they can.
The National Weather Service has called the strengthening storm a once-in-a-generation type event. It'll bring more than a foot of snow and possible blizzard conditions to the Midwest in the coming days, with wind chills 20 to 40 below in cities like Chicago. Over 800 flights will be canceled Thursday, but that number is expected to rise. The icy temperatures are expected to stick around for the holiday weekend, bringing the coldest Christmas in decades for millions. The House committee investigating last year's attack on the United States Capitol is releasing new interview transcripts of witness testimony. Trey Thomas reports.
On Wednesday, the panel made public transcripts of more than 30 witnesses who were interviewed as part of their probe. They included testimonies from former President Trump's lawyer, John Eastman, and far-right conspiracy theorist Alex Jones. While the committee's final report was expected to be released Wednesday, a statement said it would be delayed until Thursday.
I'm Michael Kastner.
You are listening to a radio god. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a radio god. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Story news in London. I'm Ollie Barrett. The WHO says China's hospitals appear to be filling up as a surge of COVID-19 gathers pace. The UK Health Secretary reportedly wants to fast-track a pay rise for NHS workers to try and head off further strikes. Japan's approving new rules to allow nuclear plants to operate longer than the previous 60 years. And Football Australia's issued more bans over the violent pitch invasion during an A-League match.
You are listening to a renowned safety expert, Dr. Jay Allen, on Safety FM. Changing safety cultures, one broadcast and one podcast at a time. Join the fun on social media and find us on Facebook at Safety FM.
A nearly 20-hour police standoff involving a man and his infant inside a home in Lancaster, California is over. Deputies say the man was threatening to kill his one-year-old baby.
The suspect exited the vehicle with the infant child, had the handgun pointed to the infant's head, and slowly walked away from our officers.
About 9 o'clock Wednesday night, the L.A. County Sheriff's Department said the baby's safe and the suspect is down after being shot by deputies. The suspect's condition isn't clear. The man barricaded himself inside a mobile home after leading California Highway Patrol officers on a high-speed chase late Tuesday night. The CHP says he shot at officers during the chase. Officers tried to pull the man over after spotting him driving 132 miles per hour on the 14 freeway in Santa Clarita. Pittsburgh Steelers Hall of Fame running back Franco Harris is dead at the age of 72. Steelers fan Brian Walters says it's a devastating loss for the city.
Franco Harris was, one of our three iconic Pittsburgh Steelers legends. When you hear he dies, part of Pittsburgh dies with him.
A look back now at some of the other top stories of this year. Here's Doug Thompson in sports.
The LA Rams beat the Cincinnati Bengals to win their second Super Bowl title. Aaron Donald gets his ring.
All that hard work you put into this game, that's what it's for. So it's finally mission complete, so it feels great.
Other champions in 2022 included the Golden State Warriors beating the Boston Celtics to win the NBA title. In the NHL, the Colorado Avalanche won the Stanley Cup. Baseball, the Astros knocked off the Phillies to win their second World Series championship. In college football, Georgia beat Alabama to win the third national championship in school history. To college hoops, Kansas topped North Carolina for the Jayhawks' fourth title and their first in 16 years. At the World Cup, the U.S. men's national team was eliminated by the Netherlands in the knockout stage. And in Beijing, the U.S. finished fourth overall with an overall medal count of 25 at the Winter Olympics.
Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello.
Okay, men. This is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
We all want to make sure that our family is protected in medical emergencies. What many of us don't realize is that health insurance won't always cover the full amount of an emergency medical flight. Even with comprehensive coverage, you could get hit with high deductibles and copays. That's why an Air Medcare Network membership is so important. As a member, if an emergency arises, you won't see a bill for air medical transport when flown by an AMCN provider. Best of all, a membership covers your entire household for as little as $85 a year. AMCN providers are called upon to transport nearly 100,000 patients a year. This is coverage no family should go without. Now, as a Jay Allen Show listener, you'll get up to a $50 e-gift card with a new membership. Simply visit airmedcarenetwork.com/safety and use the offer code SAFETY. And don't forget to tell them that Jay Allen sent you.
Here is another bit for our competitors to copy. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, there you go. Currently 18 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this terrific Thursday. So, yeah, we're doing all that kind of fun stuff. This one's coming in quick. I don't know if I should mention this, but I'll go ahead and mention it, because this is definitely how you want to start something off. U.S. life expectancies continued its steady, alarming decline from last year as COVID-19 and illegal drugs killed hundreds of thousands of people across the U.S. Mark Mayfield has more.
Latest data from the National Center for Health Statistics revealed. Figures released Wednesday show life expectancy in this country fell to 76.4 years in 2021. That's down from 77 years in 2020. Every age group, from young children to seniors 85 and older, saw a rise in the death rate. Men, women, and most racial groups lost ground. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Okay, so like I said, that's definitely how you want to start off the shit list as we are talking. Anyway, so I think today is the day, if I remember correctly, that the changes at good old Netflix start occurring in regards to the price increase, or it should be at some point already occurring now. But if you're still mooching off of someone else's Netflix account, get ready to pay up. The streaming giant first announced plans to stop sharing across different households in 2019, but paused the project among the pandemic lockdown. Now the Wall Street Journal reports that Netflix will start cracking down on these practices starting next year. The move comes as it's rolled out the ad-supported cheaper tier in recent weeks, and the initial report suggests users aren't flocking to the cheaper offering. So there you go. I mean, I will tell you, between you and I, after the little holiday season here, cutting off the Netflix thing, it's getting way too expensive out there in regards of it, and I don't use it that much to justify the new cost in regards, especially of being the 4K version. Not for me. But hey, it's out there for some other people. But currently, it going bye-bye in the Allen household, that's for sure. Let's continue talking. A Gallup survey shows that 75% of adults Americans rate their mental health as either good or excellent, marking a 10-point drop from the average since 2001. The 7% who rate their mental health as poor is the highest in the survey record. Much of the decrease in self-reported mental health is a result of the pandemic. By November of 2020, there was 9-point drop in the number of people who rated their own mental health as well and well-being as excellent, from 45 to 36%. Now, listen, I'm going to tell you something. And listen, I understand that people are going to do case studies and surveys and polls and all that kind of fun stuff. But let's be realistic. If somebody comes up to you and says, hey, listen, how is your mental health? How are things with you? How are things going? Are you going to legitimately say good, bad, or indifferent? Some people are private and they don't like sharing anything, and I get that. That makes sense to me. But I don't know if they're going to tell you straight out on a survey, hey, yeah, that makes sense. I'm going to tell you exactly what's up with me.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, the National Weather Service is calling the blizzard sweeping the country a once-in-a-generation event. The combination of the frigid temperatures and expected snow accumulation have put more than 1/4 of the country's population under weather advisories. Officials warn caution as high winds threaten to knock out power lines, complicating efforts to stay warm amid the cold temps, especially in the Midwest. So there you go. Be on the lookout there. I guess if you have any kind of battery backup inside of your household, now is the time to start giving some consideration on what the hell you're going to do. So that's a factor right there. Anyways, a study from Aston University in England warns that the world might be running out of cloud storage for digital files. While people around the globe are already relying on services like Google Drive and Amazon Web Services to store data and stream content, the amount of storage needed to keep up with is expected to increase by 300% in the next years. The report suggests that the power that these data centers alone are already account for is 1.5 of the global electricity consumption, meaning that in the long term, sustainable solutions can't be built. More tech companies will have to make their storage more efficient and scale it up. So there you go. What do you think about this? I mean, I will say, if you kind of go in the reality of things, yeah, most shit's online. When it comes to it, your storage stuff, that's where it hangs out. It hangs out in the cloud somewhere, And let's just be realistic. What the cloud is, it hangs out on somebody else's server that we just put a fancy name on, and that's what's going on. So, I mean, I will tell you, when it comes to stuff around here, we have drives among drives of terabytes of data. But we still use cloud storage on top of that. I mean, that's just what we do around here, not that you care. But I'm just sharing, I know there's a lot of file aisles out there in regards of what the hell is going on. Anyways, take a listen to this. A coal mine in rural Utah has been on fire for more than 2 months now. The single mine accounts for more than 1/4 of the state's coal production, and the blaze has left workers without a job to do. NBC News reports that even as the U.S. shifts away from coal production, plenty of small towns still rely on the coal industry, which makes up 21.9% of the U.S. energy production. So there you go. Some things to think about as we are talking. Anyways, it's time to bring in some John Smalls real quick and let him tell you what the hell is going on in the Market Beat. Take a listen.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Thursday, December 22nd, 2022. Equity markets rebounded Wednesday to add about 1.5% to the S&P 500. The driver was better than expected earnings from Nike that have enriched hopes that Q4 earnings reporting season won't be as bad as feared. As it is, the market is expecting about a 2.5% decline in the S&P 500 earnings, and the consensus is falling. The takeaway for investors is that results may be enough to keep the bulls interested and the S&P 500 bobbing sideways within the current range. The big news this week will come out tomorrow with the PCE price index. It's expected to subside on a year-over-year basis at the core level, which is what the market needs to see. If the index confirms expectations, there's a very good chance Santa Claus will bring a rally next week. You could get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, you know that somebody's going to be, after listening to that report, singing Santa Claus is coming to town with some much glee and excitement. There is no doubt about that. Anyways, the Dow added about 526 points to close at 33,376 on Wednesday. The S&P added about 56 points to close at 3,878, while the NASDAQ added about 162 points to close at 10,709. West Texas Intermediate closed at $76 a barrel, and Brent crude closed at $80. The national average of a price of a gallon of gas was $3.10. Bitcoin slid a bit on Wednesday, trading just around $16,800. Okay, so if you're standing, please sit down. If you are sitting, probably please lay down, because here's the news. There were 5,754 flight delays within, into, and out of the United States on Wednesday, with 473 cancellations. 473 cancellations. That's what was going on yesterday. Think about that. I mean, I don't like those odds. When you start saying, hey, we're traveling, we're going to do this. No. If you're flying, I don't know if this is a good idea. Just saying. Anyways, take a listen to this. Stanford University is getting criticized after releasing a list of forbidden words that can't be used in Stanford websites. The purpose of the list is to get rid of harmful language. And the word American is included. San Jose resident John Jennings tells NBC Bay Area the terms matters to him.
Take being an American completely seriously. And so many people are having so many less freedoms in other parts of the world. USA has much freedom.
Okay, Mary Osrick, who was born in Australia and lived in Canada, just became an American citizen, and she said the word is special to her.
I became an American citizen. I'm an American, and I don't have any negative meaning associated with that word. So I feel like I could use it freely.
Okay, so let me explain, because I had somebody tell me this, what was it, yesterday? No, it was the day before yesterday, on what the hell this is about. And it's because of the term American, and I'm just explaining here, so don't shoot the messenger. The word American should apply all the way from North America to Central America, South America, but the term American has only been used by most people to refer to someone who's from the United States. So that's where it could be offensive to some. I'm just describing here, people. Just describing. Take it for whatever it's worth. But that is the reason on why this whole new thing of, yes, that term can be considered offensive to some. So there you go. Some things to think about. Anyways, let's get back into some other stuff. A winter storm arrives today as people travel for the holidays. Scott Pringa has more information.
Of New York City will see heavy rain and strong winds this afternoon and tomorrow, right as folks are hitting the roads and flying for the holiday weekend. Some areas northwest of the city will get a mix of sleet and snow. This is having an impact on flights at the area airports. These folks are at Newark Airport.
I'm not really shocked or stressed about it because it's just something I experienced before, so it's nothing new to me.
And usually I'm through already and I'm probably going through security already.
Flood watches, wind advisories, coastal flood watches, and warnings are up. Scott Pringle, NBC ABC News Radio, New York.
Okay, thank you, Scott Pringle, for that information right there. Over 200 million Americans are being frozen by the Arctic cold that is being called the dangerous and record-breaking. Take a listen.
Below for the wind chill right now in Pierre. You can see Kearney, 43 degrees below. So really brutal. And that continues to sink south. We're talking Atlanta, -1 for what it feels like on Saturday. We get down to 13 degrees in New Orleans.
So the winter weather warnings have been posted in the states across the U.S. and wind chill temperatures will plunge. The National Weather Service is warning that the deadly conditions for the rest of the week from the northwest to the southeast, and the temperatures could drop by 35 degrees in just a few hours. The Weather Service said that the wind chills and the magnitude can cause frostbite in less than 5 minutes and if precautions are not taken. So take that seriously. I mean, nobody wants to get frostbite. I mean, God, can you believe that? That would not be a fun time as we are talking. Anyways, take a listen to this. One at a time, Crypto King, SBF, or Sam Bankman-Fried. I don't know how they get that to Fried. Founder of the former CEO of FTX is back in the U.S. after agreeing to be extradited from the Bahamas. NBC Gabe Gutierrez has more information.
Billionaire Sam Bankman-Fried faces charges including wire fraud and money laundering stemming from the dramatic collapse of his massive cryptocurrency exchange, FTX.
Billions of dollars vanished in the crypto firm imploded suddenly last month. SBF denies that FTX misappropriated customers' funds when it made loans to another one of his companies, Alameda of the hedge fund. On Wednesday, Caroline Ellison, the former CEO of Alameda Research, and Gary Wong, one of the founders of FTX, both pled guilty to various charges relating to the collapse. SBF expected to make his first court appearance today. Investor Rebecca Gallagher says that she lost nearly $1.5 million in FTX collapse and flew to the Bahamas to look for SBF in the eye.
Dreams for my retirement are out the window unless I have some kind of restoration, and it's the same for thousands of other people.
I mean, I'm just trying to figure this out. You were going to go all the way down, or you went all the way down to the Bahamas to look for SBF, and you were going to tell him what when you saw him. So listen to this. Former federal prosecutor Duncan Levin says that the case is historic and will come down to intent.
This is one of the biggest financial fraud cases to ever come through the federal court system. At the core of it, this actually isn't a case about cryptocurrency. It's a case that is as old as fraud is, which is a Ponzi scheme.
Bankman-Fried denies that FTX misappropriated customers' funds.
I made a lot of mistakes or things I would give anything to be able to do over again. I didn't ever try to commit fraud on anyone.
So hold on, let me make sure. I would like to do it over again. This way I can make sure that I don't get caught.
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so with that being said, it is 32 minutes past the top of the hour. It is time to do that thing that we do around this time that we call it the main story.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Yes, main story time on this terrific Thursday. Yes, terrific. It is so terrific. I don't even know what to do with myself. I'm so excited it's Thursday. Okay, maybe I'm not that excited, but it is tough to talk about as we are moving and grooving and doing everything that we get to do around here. Because listen, sometimes we get to talk about some very odd things. We get to talk about some very good things. And then sometimes we get to talk and I go, what the hell are we talking about? Because I'm slightly confused, and that's okay. Because I think I'm confused most of my life, but that might be a good thing in some cases. But this morning, I was looking around and thinking, maybe when we come in here today and start talking about what the main story is, we have to talk sometimes about things that occur in our lifetime and things that happen daily on a daily basis. And I was thinking about this, and I was like, how do we verbalize this in regards of things that happen to us? And I was like, I don't know, maybe we'll come up with something on how we talk about it. But in your life, when you sit around and think about this, are there interactions that you have that are things that you love? And are there transactions that are just exactly that? Transactions. And I'm not talking about a banking account. I'm not talking about things that you do for the sake of doing them, but it's just stuff that needs to be done. And I know that there are certain aspects of when I get to interact with people that they tell me that there are certain things that they love about their job, that they love about their career, that they even love about their family. And then I get to hear the other side of the equation of their stuff that if it wasn't because of their job, if it wasn't because of their career, if it wasn't because of their family, that they would never do them. Because they detest them that much. They detest what needs to be done that much. And, you start thinking about this for a moment, and you go, what exactly would it all apply to inside of your life currently? And you start going, what is it that I do that I do not like? And listen, I don't know. Your answer is going to be different than my answer and somebody else's answer and all that kind of fun stuff. So that's stuff to think about. But when you sit back and you think about these transactional things that you have to do with or without love, which ones are the ones that come to mind right away? What are the things that you enjoy doing and what are the things that you don't? And listen, I know that it's not all about pleasure, so let's just make sure that we're clear and take the determination of the word pleasure however you want. There's not everything from my job that I love. There's not everything in my career that I love, but there's been certain, we'll say, stepping stones to get to where I'm at. And I'm sure that's the same thing for you. But when you get up in the morning and you say, hey, I need to do my work, I need to do this with my family, I need to do this with my friends, what are certain things that happen that you don't like? And are you at the point in your lifetime where you can just get away from that? Where you can just say, hey, there are certain things that I don't like, so I'm just not going to do them. Because I don't want them just to be transactional situations. I want them to be things that I enjoy doing with, we'll say, quote unquote, love. And I know it can sound weird when you start putting that word love with it. And listen, if you know me, I'm not a lovey-dovey kind of person to start talking about stuff like this. It's like, oh, it's emotions and feelings. No, that's not me. But you get to a certain standpoint where you go, it doesn't make sense to continue to do things that I don't like, so why am I continuing to do them? And should you get to the point where you go, enough is enough if I'm doing it without quote-unquote love? Kind of a weird one to think about, but a lot of stuff to think about all at the same time. It's a weird thing, but if you had to make a determination today of a list, what would that list look like, and what would be the things that you want to change? Maybe, and just maybe, those are the things to think about today.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with Home Title Lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back. Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Polzel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
In order to save the planet from cow farts, why doesn't someone just invent really large Gas X pills?
God, what's that awful stench? Radio.
Okay, this is still the Rated R Safety Show, hour one of the Jay Allen of the Morning Show. We are still coming across Radio Big.FM and Safety FM. Yeah, this one right here, newest one from Rose. This song's called The Masquerade. I would normally tell you ready to download on Spotify and iTunes, but this is a newer one. So I don't know if it's out there yet. And I have to tell you, this is a band that I have listened to since at least the mid-90s. The different incarnations of it, Rose, the Randy Rose Band, you know, all that kind of fun stuff. So join the masquerade. So just in case you're on the lookout for it, it's called The Masquerade by Rose. So there you go. Thank you to the Rose Group for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. I like it. But then again, I like all this stuff. You know, I will tell you, their last album, the one before the release of this one, was called Songs for the Ritually Abused. I will have to say, one of my favorite albums of all time. Start to finish, storytelling at its finest. Okay, so let's get moving and grooving. Let's get moving and grooving on this lovely Thursday. Yeah, we're getting you ready right before the holidays there. So that's going to be some fun stuff, depending on what you have planned out. So as we are in this holiday season, I do have to tell you about my friends at 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. They can help you prevent suicide. The Lifeline provides 24/7 free and confidential support to people in distress, prevention, and crisis resources for you and loved ones, and the best practices for professionals in the United States. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to 988lifeline.org. That's 988lifeline.org. Or you can text the word TALK to 988 or just call 988. Listen, I understand this is a difficult time of the year for most people. And I want you to know that you're not alone, because there are people that are there for you. And if you don't know where to turn, this is the place to turn to. I'm telling you. 988lifeline.org, or just call 988 or text 988. You can even text whatever the hell you want, just to 988 to get it moving and grooving. So keep that in mind as we are talking. A lot of stuff still going on this lovely Wednesday. So let's talk about that. And let's talk about germaphone. Yeah, that's coming off of the shooting the bull list over here. Everyone has heard those stories about the number of disgusting germs and bacteria found on our smartphones. For example, the University of Arizona found that there are 12 times more bacteria on a cell phone than on the average toilet seat. The one reason that this is so awesome, Twitter user at Shao155 shared a video from McDonald's in Japan that has a phone sanitizing station right next to the restroom sink. In the video, Shao155 can be seen placing their phone in a slot where the smartphone goes. The phone is automatically taken down into a sanitizing machine where the lid closes and a UV light comes on. After a moment, the sanitized phone is sent back to the owner to retrieve. The sink phone sanitizer is called Whoosh, and its manufacturer, Wota, says the sanitizer of the phone is about 30 seconds of removing about 99.9% of the bacteria. Then you pick up the phone with your unwashed hands and, get the heck out of there. I mean, I guess that's one way to still get it. And sorry, I've lost my way I've lost way too much money on vending machines to even ever think about putting my phone inside of there. Can you imagine that? You know how from time to time when you're trying to get something out of a vending machine, on how it gets stuck and you have to shake the thing half to death just to see if it'll move? Well, that might be one of those cases where that might not be the best solution for this, but just something to think about, of course. Listen to this one real quick. If you are, if you're struck, and I mean struck on a gift for someone on your list, and I mean stuck. I said struck, but I mean stuck. Here's a tip. Think about the person and what you know about them. Consumer psychologist Aaron Achuba, the author of The Things That You Love, and How Our Passions Connect Us and Make Us Who We Are, says that there are 2 secrets to gift giving, and I'm going to give them to you real quick, just in case you still need to shop. The gifts that people love the most are rarely the most expensive, but often the most on target for the recipient. Give a gift that shows that you have a genuine curiosity about the person, and say that you're buying a gift for an avid cook. Don't ask the cook the name of the kitchen gadget. Think about the person, what they love cooking, about their favorite dishes, tools, and fools, and the frustration of in the kitchen, and enthusiastic curiosity along with them helping to find the excellent gift. And number 2, a great gift giver reminds the recipient of the past connection with ones, fosters the future connection, or both. For example, give someone a game and find time to play with them, a scrapbook, or even golf passes that can help them have the same effect. It becomes the love gift to the recipient and sees them as it bridges the connection of the two of you. And failing all that, just get her chocolate. I mean, I guess, when all else fails, it's chocolate or wine. One of the two normally does the trick. And I guess the old saying is right. It's the thought that counts. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that is the truth as you start thinking about this and moving and grooving and all that kind of fun stuff. Let's talk about some other things that are going on. The Ventura County District Office will not grant parole to the convicted rapist Andrew Luster. More from this about Daniel Martindale. I can't even speak.
Prosecutors say he's still a threat to the public. The now 59-year-old was convicted on 86 counts in 2003, including rape of an unconscious person and poisoning. Luster gave 3 women date rape drugs, then sexually assaulted them. Luster disappeared during his trial and was later captured in Mexico by Dwayne Chapman, better known as Dog the Bounty Hunter. Luster is serving a 50-year prison sentence. I'm Daniel Martindale.
50 years, prison sentence. It sounds legit in regards of what's going on there. There is no doubt about that. As we are talking, as we are moving and grooving, take a listen to this real quick. This is coming out of Denver, Colorado. Colorado Department of Transportation is sending out warning to extreme drop in temperatures that will hit Denver area around the state overnight. Tamara Rollinson with the CDOT is advising drivers to avoid testing the roads during the Arctic cold front.
It is best to stay off the roads. And it seems that the coldest of the temperatures are going to come in during the overnight hours for a couple of days. If you can work from home, if you are able to do that, this would be a good time to do it.
Who wants to work from home? Let's just call it in. I'm calling in due to extreme weather. Anyways, road conditions are expected to be more dangerous than most snow days. It's going to be so cold that the roads are really hard to treat. When the temperature drops below 15 degrees, magnesium chloride, which is used a lot on the roads in Colorado, doesn't work very well. CDOT worked yesterday trying to pre-treat the roads while it was still warm enough. The storm is going to last at least through Friday. I mean, I'm gonna give you some advice here, and take it with a grain of salt. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. If you live in a cold state, get the fuck out of there. No, seriously. Like, what's wrong with you? You don't want to live in a cold state. This is the reasons why you avoid the cold states. You want to go into states where it's kind of warm. That's what it goes on. Anyways, maybe I can bring you somebody who's a little bit more motivational than I am. Let's bring in some John Smalls real quick. He's from the John and Heidi show that happens in the afternoon here. And let him tell you about what's going on with the Motivation Minute.
Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Chris. Plato said, "Reality is created by the mind. We can change our reality by changing our mind." Wow. Plato was so far ahead of his time. He was talking about virtual reality a couple thousand years ago. Okay, he meant you could change your actual reality by changing how you think about things. I've had the chance to watch a metamorphosis in people when they change their mindset. It's pretty cool to witness. I worked with a guy who was very negative. He would start every day complaining about something. And then one day he changed. He started doing something positive each and every morning. His entire world changed. It was pretty cool to witness that. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlessaMorgan.com. When it comes to meditation, unless you have a lot of experience, it is almost inevitable that at some point during meditation, your concentration and focus will drift away, and you may find yourself back with your thoughts. For a lot of people, this means that the meditation has failed. However, rewiring of circuits for focus by way of neuroplasticity happens through refocusing. Peer-reviewed studies from the New York University show that a 13-minute per day focus and refocus meditation significantly improves concentration. The key to a successful practice is this: it's not about focus, it's about refocus. This means that every time your mind drifts, it's an opportunity to refocus and to build up the circuits for concentration and improved attention. For more information on wellness, check out AlessaMorgan.com.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, trying to be something for sure. Entertainment might be part of that equation, but I'm not 100% sure on that one either. Anyway, so let's see. It is currently 55 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are still hanging out. At the top of the hour, I will be going over to RadioBig.fm. If you want to come and hang out, I will be doing the music stuff that we do on the hour 2 and hour 3 of the Jay Allen in the Morning show, because this is hour 1 of it, but we call it the Rated R Safety Show. So if you want to come out, hang out, and do the stuff that we do over there, you can by going to tuneinradio.com and looking for Radio Big, or you can go to the iHeartRadio app. Yeah, that's where we're located. Or you can go to radiobig.fm, listen to it there, or even check our different app that we have available, because that's what we're all about. Getting you where you want to be. There is no doubt about that as we are talking. Anyways, no winner for Tuesday night Mega Million drawing. Friday night's drawing will be for $510 million jackpot or a $266.8 million cash payout. So there you go. If you're trying to figure it out, that is part of the equation. If you want to play the game, you're more than welcome to, because, hey, do what you want to do. Do what makes you happy. Anyways, taking a look back at some things that happened back on this date. Back in 2010, President Obama repealed the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy. The 17-year-old policy prohibited any homosexual or bisexual person disclosing their sexual orientation or from speaking about it in any homosexual relationship, including marriage. The act was issued back in 1993 under the Clinton administration. Let's take a look at some birthdays that are going on today. Let's see. Meghan Trainor turns 29. Jordan Sparks, 33. Ted Cruz, 52. Rick Nielsen, 74. And Diane Sawyer, she turned 77 today. That's some birthdays. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, I have some of those. It's Mathematic Day, National Cookie Exchange Day. That normally is kind of a big thing today and tomorrow. National Short Person Day, Forefathers Day, and National Date Nut Bread Day. Date Nut Bread Day. That seems like a lot of stuff going on right there if you really start thinking about it. So there you go. Those are some days of the year that you can celebrate. If you are looking for a random joke for today, try this one. Christmas sweaters are only acceptable as a cry for help. If you need a phone starter for today, try this one. What is your absolute best Christmas memory? Next one, if you need a question for the water cooler, try this. A survey says that 36% of us planned on doing this all day on Christmas. What is it? Staying in their pajamas. Hold on. I didn't even know that was like kind of a thought process ahead of time. So you sit around and think, hey, I think I'm going to be in my pajamas the whole time? I didn't really understand that that oddity, but I guess if people plan on doing that, I hope you're not one of those people that sleep naked then, because that's going to be weird if you have friends and family over. There might be a lot of questions. I mean, I'm just throwing that out there for some things to think about as we are talking. Anyways, this is going to bring our show to an end, just so you know, unless you're going to come over to hour 2 and 3 as previously discussed. Thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener, because without you, we could not do what we do around here. If I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. If you want to experience a true meaning of Christmas, give something to someone who can offer nothing in return. Seriously, it will change the way that you look at the world. I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love ya, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.